something that it took me quite a while to listen to, Scorpion. So I was kind of surprised to see this was Drake's only his fifth like proper studio album. Technically, I was like, I feel like he's dropped so many other projects
over 10 years.
Right. Well,
kind of a lot.
Also, kind of crazy that Florence and the Machine has been around for 9 years and Drake 10. Like, if they,
I mean, they both blew. Lungs is 09, and so is So Far Gone, right? So yeah, they're about the same age.
So Drake, I mean, if you want to go back and hear kind of the lead up to this album, like the precursors to this, the drama around it, you can go back and listen to our pod from about a month ago. Pusha T talked about his album and the drama surrounding that. I mean, it's just to sum it up, I guess, you know, Pusha dropped a song that came at Drake. Drake wrote a response. Pusha came way over the top. Basically, was like, you know, you're hiding a child. You have all this, you know, all this dirt that people don't know about, and that I'm bringing to light. Posted the picture of him and Drake in the blackface, and Drake kind of had to take the L on that one. He wasn't able to. He didn't come back at the request of I'm forgetting the guy's name.
Jay Prince.
Yeah, Jay Prince. And then we're all waiting Scorpion to see what's coming on. First of all, do we know why he named the Scorpion? Is that just in relation to his his astrological sign?
That's
Scorpio?
Exactly what it is. Right. October's very own.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not the biggest Drake fan. I like
more life discussion for more, or better yet, our views discussion.
Yeah, views is a better one. I liked More Life more than Views, and I think I liked More Life more than Views because I felt like he was taking some more risks and intentionally trying some more things. I mean, More Life incorporated grime, incorporated dancehall, and just like
beats.
Afro beats, just a more worldly pop sound. And I appreciate him taking those chances. And I know he was doing some of that on Views, but it was a different level on More Life.
Right.
This album, I was underwhelmed for the most part. And I want to get into a discussion about why after we kind of go through the songs. But this is not a bad album. This is a good rap album. I think my expectations for Drake and just his star in general, I mean, he's probably the number 1, number 2 biggest pop star in the world, depending on, I guess, how you put like him and Bieber, right?
Like in terms of sales, he's below Taylor Swift, but you know, he's
Swift, right
there, you know.
But her star has fallen off dramatically the last couple of years too, I feel like. Or at least
it's true, but Reputation also went, you know, over 1 billion first week. Right. So she still has such a baked-in fan base. But Drake's not that far behind. He's continued to get bigger and bigger, despite all odds.
So I think my expectations for Drake are just really high. And though this album, it didn't hit, I guess, what I'm looking for from him, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, I still think this was good. And I think you thought this was good too. But I'm wondering, for you, Dave, side A or side B, which one do you ride for?
Good question. So going in, once we heard it kind of explain this, side A is your rap album, side B is your R&B album. And a lot of people were like, oh, finally, Drake's going to separate the two and give us what we wanted. Yeah. And like, you know, there's people, I usually like Drake when he raps more. I'm not like a big fan of like, just hold on, we're going home type of Drake, you know? Mm-hmm. But a lot of people, especially the ladies, they really like R&B Drake, and it's a proven commodity. Like songs like Take Care of Rihanna, you know, they're hits for a reason. Mm-hmm. But then listen to this, I was like, I like side A. There's some songs I'm gonna go back to. There's some really good bars on here. We'll get to some of those songs in a second. And then side B pops up. I'm like, oh fuck, side B, vibing out to this. And I've been going back to side B more so far.
It seems like you really like this album a lot.
I did. I think the best way to explain this is that, similar to More Life, honestly, Drake now, I mean, More Life commercial mixtape, really called it a playlist, but he didn't do any videos or any singles. So that's the way he explained that. But I guess that makes sense. He just kind of put the songs out and let them be. And then here we have, there's actually 3 singles to this, but it's similar to More Life in that just a collection of Drake songs. There's Drake stuff on here. Drake has a lot of different types of songs he makes. Here they are. He's not reinventing himself. He's not really doing anything different. Scorpion is not going to change the opinion of any Drake fan one way or the other, or any Drake hater one way or the other. It's just more of what he's doing for good and bad, right? And in a sense, it's kind of like new age Kanye, where Life of Pablo and Ye, he kind of stopped innovating, and just kind of started making stuff that's kind of iterative on what he's done. And I think that kind of applies to what we have here. While I think this is better than Ye, obviously. It's an interesting thought where he's almost resting on his laurels and just making really good Drake songs without making a new kind of Drake song, I guess.
Yeah, I think about this record, and there's not many like songs that sound like anything new. I'm trying to rack my brain to see if there's any, but I agree. I just find it interesting that he obviously had songs on this album done way before everything happened with Pusha. Although I think there's definitely things he added in after that whole thing. A lot of the content regarding his son and things like that, I would imagine, were probably added on afterwards. And some of the lyrics as well. But it almost feels like Drake like took this L and then he's like, all right, I'm just going to play this one safe and I'm just going to drop. I know people are going to like, I know my fans are going to stand for this. And I'm sure he probably wasn't thinking that prior to that, but this almost feels like, all right, I'm just going to do what I know I can be successful at. I'm not going to put myself out there.
I'm not sure if that's not how I view it. I think he made a conscious decision to not have a back and forth with Pusha T for whatever reason, whether Jay Prince was really the reason for that or not, whatever. But I think thinking like, all right, let me wait. My album's already coming. And my response is that I have Jay-Z and Michael Jackson on this album. And then you listen to like Survival, which I think is one of Drake's best intro tracks he's ever made. And I thought the little, there's a bunch of little subliminals throughout that, like, the crown is broken in pieces, but there's more in my possession. And then after this summer, man, how is that even a question? I've had real Philly N-words try to write my endings. I've had scuffles with bad boys that I wasn't pretending, so bringing up Meek and Diddy. And then he's kind of like downplaying the Pusha beef, saying it wasn't like a real beef. He actually had like real problems with Meek Mill and Diddy, and that's not what he has with Pusha. And that's an interesting way to play it. And then he addresses his son multiple times on the album, and I think in actually a pretty tactful way.
But doesn't it just sound like... Sorry, not to cut you off. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
It just sounds like what he's saying is, the beef I lost, I didn't have any real problems. That wasn't a real one, but the ones I won, those were real. It's like every kid that like strikes out in Little League and is like, well, that pitcher was way better than the other pitcher. So
well, it's like, and I think that kind of goes back to W Freestyle, where he was like, I pop style for 30 hours and let him repeat. Why are you calling me out for writing my songs when I was just helping you and Kanye write songs last month? Like Drake really never had any beef, and then Pusha got mad personal, and then Drake decided to not go back at that. So it's interesting, like, what his perspective may be on the whole thing. We don't really know, but I don't think he totally ignored it on this. But yeah, there's no like scathing, like, I'm gonna put Pusha in the dirt song. No.
Right. So I cut you off before, but I think you were kind of just talk about how like Drake's perspective on this album, it was basically like, I don't have anything to really prove to anybody. I'm just gonna, drop what I think is good and people can deal with it. And he kind of alludes to that. He wrote some editor's notes on this album. I'm just gonna read it here.
I love the editor's notes.
Yeah, I hate when Drake raps. Drake sings too much. Drake is a pop artist. Drake doesn't even write his own songs. Drake took an L. Drake didn't start from the bottom. Drake is finished. I like Drake's older stuff. Drake makes music for girls. Drake thinks he's Jamaican. Drake is an actor. Drake changed. Anybody else is greater than Drake. Yeah, we know.
AKA, I miss the old Kanye, straight from the soul Kanye. It's the same thing.
Basically. He's nothing else if not self-aware.
For sure.
But I think it also speaks to probably why I've been so underwhelmed with Drake just as an artist. Is I feel like, it's obvious that Kanye was a huge influence to Drake. Even some of the songs on this album, the way he uses samples to create sounds and to create, his I don't know, awesome songs. I think about like Mariah Carey's feature. In this, like you said, Michael fucking Jackson.
Yeah, like that's a Kanye ass move to clear an MJ sample.
Yeah, exactly. And like only he has this type of clout. But when I think about Kanye, I think about someone that literally like influenced the way rap music sounded. It influenced the way that people did it. I don't know if Drake has that same influence. I think I almost feel like unless he does something like that, I see him as disappointing because I see him on that level, or at least people tell me he's on that level. Which
I mean, I don't agree with that. Look everywhere. There's how many guys rap and sing now? Drake made that okay. You know, that used to be a negative.
So you think before Kanye people didn't rap and sing, or before Drake people didn't?
I mean, we can just look at the rappers that came out. There weren't a lot of them. I think Drake's impact on making crossover rap mainstream is much bigger because he did it all the time. Kanye only did it sometimes. You know, and then you have guys like 21 Savage just last week saying how Drake puts young rappers on every year. He helped me out, and it's like, I mean, everyone respects what he does for the game all the time. It's just, I think it's just funny that, like, you know, it's cool to hate on Drake because he's popular, but like people kind of forget the influence. Like DJ Booth actually on Twitter had an exchange where it's like DJ Booth gave Drake gave Kendrick Lamar one of his biggest look yet in 2011 when he took him on tour. Ditto for A$AP Rocky and J. Cole. Like Drake's been influencing the game, putting people on for a long ass time. It's just people kind of like forget, you know, and like because we've taken him for granted for so long because he's just been so untouchable and, you know, making safe music.
But isn't that like kind of what Kanye didn't do, was make safe music? Like
no, it's true.
Right,
it's true. But he took the mantle from Kanye. Kanye's last influential record was, I mean, Yeezus was a choice. I don't know how influential Yeezus was, but you know, we'll say Dark Twisted Fantasy, and then that's right when Drake started getting really big. So Drake just picked up where Kanye left off.
Right. Yeah, I think I just want him to not be safe, and that's why I really appreciated More Life, and I can look back and appreciate some of the things he did on Views, and this just feels like a safe option. But like I said, even with that, he still makes songs that are better than pretty much anybody else out there. Like his safe options are still incredible.
His ear for melody, obviously the stable of producers he houses. I mean, Boy Wonder and 40, obviously you don't expect on this, but I mean, even you have like DJ Paul on here with a cool NWA sample, and obviously DJ Premier coming in on Sandra's Rose, one of my favorite songs on side A. And that's cool, but that's a cool song because that's not a primo beat that sounds like A Million and One Questions by Jay-Z. That's not like a 90s era primo beat. It's like it's a song that doesn't quite sound like DJ Premier, but then Drake made it his own. So I think that's a really, really cool collab, and it's a long time coming, honestly.
I think, I'm thinking about what really stood out to me in this album. I mean, obviously, there are just some awesome moments, awesome songs. Sandra's Rose, like you said, nonstop. I feel like his flow in that is just like incredible, and I think that's one of the things he does really well is he switches up his flow from song to song.
Yeah.
Well this.
I was taking notes. Nonstop, the second song, the first non-intro song. I was like, as soon as Take Heat comes up, I'm like, oh, here's his Block Boy JB Chameleon song. Sure enough, that's exactly what he made, and he does it really well. That's Drake for you.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing is he has so many tools to make a song sound good or give it a certain feeling. I don't know if his like kind of like you said, the singing side of it really hit as well with me, but I think that's also just, it's a long album. By the time I got to that part, I was pretty just like tired of listening to the album. I mean, obviously Nice for What is a freaking banger and will probably be one of the best songs of the year. What other songs stood out to you on this?
I think there's a really good run at the end of side B. That's How You Feel. Then Blue Tint, I really like Drake's performance on that. I thought it's a nice feature collab. He hasn't had one of those since that Lucy in 2016. Then In My Feelings, probably my favorite song, just because of the vibe on that. Then you have the Michael Jackson joint. Then you have right after that, After Dark, Ty Dolla $ign. What a month he's had as a guest.
Dude, he's a heater.
And then Static Major. Everyone's saying RIPX, RIP Static Major. I mean, I fucking love that sample.
After Dark is great.
Yeah. So that whole run at side B is what I've been really going back to the most. But even a song on side A, like Mob Ties, I was like, oh, here's Drake doing a little dabbling with Thugger. And it's like, again, it's not that Drake hasn't done anything new on this in terms of the types of songs he makes, nor has any lyrical content advanced. But he's doing what he's always done, and he's doing a lot of it really well. Obviously, there's going to be clunkers and duds, but that's a long album. That's not an exclusively Drake problem. That's just long albums in general. double albums are near impossible to make great,
Right.
And my actually interesting point I heard about this, maybe he made it a double album because now that helped him get out of his Cash Money deal. So he's off Young Money, he's off Cash Money with this. And whether that was because Scorpion was going to count as 2 records because of the length, we don't know. But either way, he's he's off the majors. And I mean, like Drake hasn't needed a label for fucking 6 years at this point. Like,
definitely.
So that's an interesting note to that. But
well, I think
was there any other songs that really stood out to you?
I think we talked about most of them. I mean, I just keep going back to "Don't Matter to Me" just because like hearing like a Michael Jackson sample that no one's ever heard before is just fucking incredible in 2018. Just like an unbelievable moment, and like you said, to be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to respond to Push It, but I'm going to drop an album that has Jay-Z and Michael Jackson like verse, just crazy. I guess there's one critique I really wanted to like just shoot down that I've seen a lot of people talking about. Like Drake just is talking about the same old stuff on this, very braggadocious, that he's, can't trust anybody, just talking about how many beautiful girls and how hard it is to trust people because honestly, like we give a lot of people a pass for talking about the same stuff all the time, the same content album. So I'm not going to knock.
What does Pusha T talk about again?
Right. Yeah, exactly. So there is all the people that critique him for that, I think, can take a lap. And also with the double album, I think that also was probably like streaming numbers, like he's a smart, savvy businessman. He knows put out as many songs as possible to get those numbers up. And he's been killing it with the numbers, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, to that point, I think again, like a Ray Shremmerd, if you make a really long album for streams, if you can like quote justify it by, in this case, a side A and a side B having 2 distinct feels, I feel like you can pull it off. Right. I'm okay with anything that's not Culture 2. Just here's fucking everything. It's all the same thing. 1 through 25, right?
Yeah. Definitely.
But I mean, to those numbers, to your point, I mean, not 4 months ago in April, Beer Bongs and Bentleys came out of Post Malone, his second album. Now we were not big fans of. We're not Post Malone people here, but he's really popular. Can't deny that. And he did set the single day streaming record with Spotify and Apple Music, and his Spotify mark was 78.7 million streams on the first day, which is absurd. And then Drake follows this up on Spotify with 132 million streams of Scorpion on the first day and 170 million on Apple Music.
Crazy.
And then, I mean, just for context, Apple Music, More Life a year ago was 89 million. So he's fucking nearly doubled it in 1 year. It's crazy considering how big an artist he already is. And well, obviously technically goes platinum as soon as it releases because God's Plan is 8 times plat and Nice for What's 3 times. Right. First week sales doesn't count that. He's looking at, it's projected right now to be 870 to 920,000 units first week with almost 300,000 as traditional, unit sales. So obviously streams are helping him, but he's still pushing big numbers, and
it's ridiculous.
More Life, for example, for context, was 500,000. So insane footprint that he has. I mean, I think Fantano had a funny tweet when he was like, "What the fuck?" Where it's like it was a Spotify screenshot of like the landing page. Yeah. And it was every single type of playlist had Drake on it.
It was even like new wave gospel had like Drake. Like I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Which is so funny because he's like an Apple guy too.
Yeah. But people just want more Drake, man. It's insane.
One last thing I want to say is, to your point about the lyrical content, Drake, more or less doing the same thing. And I agree with what you're saying, because he now has the child out in the open, of course. I think that like the broy, insecure, almost immature lines about women might not go over as well now.
Oh, you think?
Now that he has a kid, like even for example, like I'm upset. Can't go 50-50 with no hoe. Wait a minute. Yeah, you got to go 50-50 with the hoe now, dude. The mom.
Yes. And did you see that? Like she could not even wait till the weekend was over to post that like she's Drake's baby mama on Instagram.
Good for her.
She was waiting for that clout, man.
Now, did you hear the thing? I don't know if this is confirmed, but the tweet was blowing up. Apparently, Drake's kids, Adonis is the first name, but the middle name is Mabed.
I heard, yeah,
which is apparently Romanian for chosen one. And then everyone's like, God's Plan.
And my mama, I'm sorry. Yep.
does love his kid. Chess, not checkers, bro.
I mean,
Or the other one I said was Drake just had to let Pusha T kill him so he could go to heaven and ask Michael Jackson for a feature.
yeah, I saw all these. If Drake's long game was, I'm gonna start this feud with Pusha, who will then expose me for having a secret child, and then I will have already had a lyric talking about how much I love my child somewhere in there. That's some next level strategy. So, I don't know, but either way, Scorpion definitely worth a listen. I think we'll be talking about it a lot as the year goes on and re-listening to it, and we'll have plenty of those songs, probably one or two, maybe even three of them on our Spotify playlist. Best of Nowstalgia Pod 20, Nowstalgia Best of 2018.
Linked at SoundCloud, easy to find, and linked at YouTube as well.
So check it out.